What's up, guys? I'm Evan Wick,
And I'm Patrick Spray.
and this is episode 11 of Washed Up.
Washed up.
You seem delayed on my
It's
end,
probably
but
laggy, but yeah.
it usually ends up being in sync when we look back at it. How you doing, Pat?
No, it doesn't. I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there. I'm in Arizona right now, so this is like my fourth time I've done the podcast outside of my podcast area.
This is the first time I've seen that Zexy Xander thing. I,
That's my twin
what is
brother
that? A neon
Xander's.
light?
Yeah, it's his Instagram handle, Xander. He probably uses his gaming handle. You should see. I have my laptop, my Mac laptop here, and I'm looking at two different gaming monitors side to side and an entire podcast setup. But I chose to stick with my original podcast setup.
Which is what?
This Yeti, my headphones, it's actually, oh,
Yeah.
it's a blue mic. I think there's a Yeti
I
mic,
thought you were
but
saying like a Yeti, like a cup.
no. Although I do
That'd
like
be
the Yeti
funny.
cups.
Yeah,
But
those are nice.
yeah, I'm in Arizona for a camp, so hanging in there.
That's cool, man.
What you been up to?
Uh, Not a whole lot. Just training. Not me training, but training the kiddos. We got youth state tomorrow. Actually, we start.
Oh, sweet. I'm actually
Yeah,
training.
it's gonna be busy. You're actually training. Yes. For what? What's
Yep.
coming up?
US Open.
Oh yes, I'll be there.
So I'm training with Larkin here at ASU for a little bit. Just for
That'd
like
be
two
fun.
days. But I have the camp as well, so that'll be good.
Yeah,
But speaking of US Open, do you think Gable Steveson will be wrestling at the US Open to get his lick back against Wyatt Henderson?
I would be shocked if he wrestled.
What? Why?
I feel like he's a showman, and I feel like what showmen do is build anticipation. So I don't see him wrestling at the U.S. Open or anytime soon.
I think it's good to build anticipation, but he's gonna have to build that anticipation for an entire year. I know the dude likes his time off. He's taken about a year off in between being a national champion and then taking second now. But
Yeah.
I think he's got to do it, man. He's got to. You can't just like build anticipation for an entire year. When's the next time that you're just gonna wait till next World Team Trials? I don't
Well,
think he does.
no,
I think he comes and wrestles.
he's qualified for World Team Trials already, right? You said it yourself. An Olympic champ should be qualified. So why wrestle at the U.S. Open if he's already qualified?
So you're saying that he's gonna wrestle him at World Team Trials?
I would assume that he'd wrestle at World Team Trials, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise. I would be more surprised if he wrestled at U.S. Open than if he did not wrestle at the World Team Trials.
True. I would say that's fair. Yeah, you're probably right. He probably is not gonna wrestle at the U.S. Open if he is qualified for the World Team Trials.
Yes, that's how I see it.
How I mean, we could sing Wyatt Henderson's praises all day, but I think ESPN, Barstool, the dude's gotten enough coverage. Everyone knows how amazing his feat is, but do you think he stands a chance against Gable next time around?
I mean, he obviously stands a chance, but I guess I wouldn't pick him to win a rematch.
No, I don't pick him to win the rematch.
I That might have been the most insane upset that I've ever seen. Like it was to the point where I watched it and I was like, "Dude, this is fake. There's no way this happened."
Really?
Oh yeah, like I'm sitting there in disbelief, mouth open. I was like, "This can't be real." What I just watched. But I know this about myself. Sometimes I'm a D1 hater. You know, anything cool happens, I'm like, whatever,
You are.
right?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I am. That's true. I'm trying to be more like accepting of what happened and move forward. So that was kind of like my first two thoughts. Was the first one was this is rigged. There's no way, right? How did they accomplish this rigging? That's what my thoughts were.
So you
And then
didn't want
like,
to accept this.
no, I'll tell you why. I'll run you through my thought process. Thought one, they made it weird. So it started at 84, but then it ended at 285. So we knew that was going to be the last match, and it was just kind of weird. It was like, why change it up and then end with that? It's still kind of iffy
So
on me, right?
you
And
had a
then,
whole tin
sorry,
hat on for this thing.
for like 3 minutes there. Yeah,
Okay.
I ran through it all. Second thought was, okay, Gable's not very postury like with his opponents. He's usually always like super respectful, right? Dap him up before the match and then wrestle, right? He might wrestle tough, but he's always like he does most of his shit afterwards with the backflip, with the like, hey, what up, everybody, right? But
Right.
then he starts like walking up on Wyatt as he's stepping to the stage, and I'm like, this seems weird, right? And I'm running through all of this after the match, right? It's weird in the moment, but then I'm putting the puzzle pieces together, right? There's 15 seconds left. I think most of the time Gable gets away, right? And here's what brought me back to planet Earth here. I stopped going down the rabbit hole when I thought about this.
You're on
When you get
Mars.
taken down, what'd you say?
You're on Mars.
Oh no, dude, I was past Mars. I was deeper.
Okay, all right.
But no, like when you're on bottom and you know that all you have to do is get away, that is like one of the hardest things to do. Because like in the match, you're watching, dude, get away. It's easy, right? You do it all the time. But in that moment, he had to have been so shell shocked that he got taken down, and he's in that position just to begin with. And
He really didn't make much effort to get on bottom.
the fall after the reach back just seemed so like that's not very Olympic champ of you, right? That's like third grade you coming back. That's weird. Why would you do that? And then you know it was one of the coolest moments to get off of this tangent was watching
Mm.
all of the coaches just like lose their control and just go out there and like basically hug him on the mat. That was so cool to see. True
David Taylor's
triumphant
first
story.
year, the first year coaching, David Taylor, head coach, he's not going to get a cooler moment than that.
Oh
What?
my goodness. I texted you right after that. I said you just witnessed a movie in real life.
Yeah, I mean, they could make a movie about that. I don't know if they will, but that could. I
100%.
think that I mean, the entire
Here's a good
thing of the
question
movie
for
is just
you,
gonna have to be
Evan.
the upset. Hmm.
Well, they're going to build it up. You know what I mean? They know what they do with movies.
Right.
What's a bigger storyline? Anthony Robles with one leg beats Matt McDonough. Wyatt Hendrickson upsets Olympic champ Gable Steveson.
For wrestlers, Gable Steveson, but for non-wrestlers, Anthony Robles.
That's fair.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think a whole lot of non wrestlers know about Anthony Robles
Do I think that a lot of non-wrestlers know about Anthony Robles more than they
compared
probably
to
know
like
about?
knowing Gable Steveson?
Yeah, I think for his time, for sure. I think a lot more people heard from ESPN and through news sources that a guy with one leg won the NCAA wrestling championships. I think that was probably a bigger story.
I would argue that Gable. I don't know. That's tough. I feel like Gable's bigger. I feel like he's just got a bigger presence.
Well, I mean, now with social media and things like that, but I think at the time, Anthony Robles was probably the most well-known wrestler. Like, I think um, people who don't know anything about wrestling heard that there was a guy with one leg who won the NCAA wrestling championships versus people heard that an Olympic champion got upset in wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe. That's
Like, I mean,
maybe.
would you do you think that the news would get to you that an Olympic champion swimmer who was undefeated just got upset at the NCAA championships in swimming? I don't think that news would make it to
Well,
you.
I
Versus
think it
let's say
might.
a one-arm swimmer or something, that would be bigger.
That's a
That'd be
good
bigger.
point. So I
It's
think
not
it
the
kind of
same, but
depends on like how you get your, this. This is getting down a different conversation that we should probably stop soon. But it depends on like how you watch and how you get your news. Right. I watch most of Pat McAfee's show. Right. So he's getting into all of these oddity things with sports. Like he had both Gable Steveson and Wyatt Hendrickson on his show.
really, he had both of them on?
Both of them, not together, but yes,
Of course not. Yeah, I mean that's
could be kind of
I
funny.
have been seeing I think wrestling is finally starting to come into the limelight here because I've seen a lot of the Barstool, the McAfee show,
Yes.
ESPN did a couple documentaries. They did Ben Askren and O'Toole, Oklahoma State with David Taylor, and they did a Penn State. I mean, it was ESPN MMA, I'm not sure if that makes it to the common man or if it's mostly just people who are involved in, people who already know things about Penn State wrestling and Oklahoma State wrestling.
Right,
But it's cool to
right.
see ESPN covering wrestling in any way.
They had like all of the sessions on the ESPN channel. Like I think the lowest tier one was ESPNU, which really isn't that bad. So it's impressive that they have the entire tournament on there covered.
Yeah, yeah. It was sweet. I just like to see wrestling get that coverage. I'm really excited to see that. And you know what? Would you say that Wyatt Henriksen beating Gable is the biggest upset of all time?
With my limited capacity of like just knowledge of these matches in history, I would say yes. I think it's the biggest upset.
Certainly the last 10, 20 years,
Can
the
you
only
can you convince me on another
exception,
one?
the only one I would maybe try to convince, I think Dan Gable, talk about the namesake for Gable Steveson, his last match, just like Dan Gable, he loses. But that one he
Yeah,
was going for undefeated status. That might be bigger, but it's so old. I don't
that might
know.
be bigger. Yeah, it's almost dated. I mean, when
But
you're going for undefeated, I could see that being a bigger story. I just like again, I just feel like the notoriety that comes with Gable Steveson is bigger, which makes this moment bigger for Wyatt Hendrickson. If that makes sense.
yeah, he's the most famous American wrestler right now. I think he has more followers on Instagram than Jordan Burroughs, even. So yeah, that's huge. Um,
Jordan Burroughs tried to take it back from him today. Did you see that?
what happened? What?
Did you see what he was posting about wrestling for Jamaica?
Who?
You didn't see this?
No, I didn't see
Jordan
this.
Burroughs. Go to
I
his
was
Instagram
driving
right now.
for 8 hours.
Go to his Instagram right now. You're
Jordan
gonna get
Burroughs
such a
is
kick out of this. I don't know if it's real or not, bro. Yeah, it just broke my pen, but that's okay. Dude, I can't believe you
breaking
didn't see
news.
this.
Oh, he's joking.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to consider that for more than 15 seconds. We can't lose him. We cannot lose him.
Dude, I scared you so bad right there. It was
You had
funny
me for a
though. Like,
second.
well, Bash Mania posted it, and when you see Bash Mania post it, you're kind of like, that might be news.
It's not April 1st yet, says Amit Elar. That's funny. Oh, dude. Dap Gold called him Bumbleclat. That's funny.
All
Bumbleclat.
right, let's get into the show.
Um,
You ready?
whoa, wait, 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 wait. This is important stuff.
Oh
Spencer,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I
My bad.
want to believe that Spencer Lee getting pinned by Ramos is a bigger deal than this. It's
Then
not the
this? No, it's
finals.
not.
I want to believe it, bro. I mean, he was going for his fourth NCAA title. Gable wasn't. Although Gable was, I mean, would you say Gable's lost before? He's been more dominant than Spencer Lee ever was, but Spencer Lee got pinned by Matt Ramos. That's not, I mean, Henriksen is a top tier guy, and Ramos is top tier, but he didn't even he didn't even All-American the year after that he pinned Spencer Lee. That's big.
I disagree with this whole argument. There's no way that upset is even close to this one.
Really.
It's
You
big for the last decade, but of all time, not even close.
you know what it might be? I was there, and I think the arena was substantially louder when Spencer Lee got pinned because everyone's at the semis and everyone's at the beginning of the semis. But I think
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everyone left the arena because they just thought Gable was gonna walk away with it,
It
and he
did
didn't.
kind of look like empty in there. It was kind of weird.
Dude, it wasn't nearly that loud because I get this, I was one of the people who walked out. But I sat in the tunnel and watched it on TV, and when I saw that Hendrickson was in on his leg, I went
You were
back in
one
the
of the
arena.
people that left.
Yeah, but I was watching on the TV in the tunnel, and as soon as he gets in on his leg, I run back into the arena, and everyone's going crazy. Everyone's going crazy.
Dude, you missed out.
I saw it. I watched it. I saw it happen.
No, it wasn't. Dude, you had like third row seats. I saw you on the TV,
I had
and then you
second row
just
seat. Thank you very
sacrificed
much.
one
Second row
of the
seat.
biggest upsets in like a second row seat because you couldn't sit and watch a heavyweight match. That's insane.
I've done my
That's
best not to feel
insane.
bad about it. I've done my best not to feel bad about it and not hate myself for it. But I shouldn't have left. I shouldn't
It,
have left.
yeah. Wow.
That's how confident I was in Gable Steveson. It was 4-2, and I still was just like, yeah, he walks away with it. I'm leaving.
I'm genuinely disappointed in you.
Fair, fair. And you know what?
I'm at I'm at a youth qualifier trying to watch these matches in person, but you know what? I'm dedicated, right? I stay here. I watch these youth matches of these kids that I'm coaching just
In
so I can
all
get that like in person feel from my best friend Evan. Hey, what was it like? You were there, I couldn't be. And you're like, oh, I don't know. I was in the tunnel watching it on the TV.
No, I was in the arena. Yeah, now if you asked me what was it like as a second row seat, I wouldn't be able to tell you because I wasn't there, but I was in the damn arena. So if someone was in the nosebleeds, you wouldn't listen to them because they're in the nosebleeds. I was
I'd
certainly in
listen
better
to him a
position than
little.
the nosebleeds.
Not from what I heard. It sounds like you were kind of in the middle of running.
No, I was in the arena. I was on the floor.
All right.
I still
I'm
hate
just,
myself for not
it's
being
insane.
second row.
Yeah.
I still hate myself for not being second row, but nonetheless, I was there and I watched it. And you know what? Now I feel a bit more guilty. You're right. I should feel guilty for having left. Um, but you know what? I was there.
It's kind of messed
But
up, dude.
that brings me to my next point.
What is it?
The finals again, at least in person, other than Jesse Mendez, O'Toole Hamity, and Stevenson Hendrickson, were kind of boring, man. It's just
I thought 25 was boring
25-33.
for the most part. I actually liked 33 match. I did. I thought that the overtime kind of sent it over the edge, and I thought it was a pretty technical match. I thought Ayala and Bird wrestled each other and really opened up in the overtime, which made it a good match. So I was pleased with that one. Mendez is a dog. 49, I
Mendez
could
was
see being a
awesome.
little boring. What?
Yep. Mendez was awesome.
Oh yeah, dude. We'll talk about Mendez in a little bit, but
Okay.
I could see 25 being a little boring, 49 being a little boring. But I mean, who
57.
won 50? Who was 57 again?
Antron
Oh,
Taylor.
Blaze and Antral. Yeah, that was a little boring. But I think other than those three, the rest of the matches are pretty good. So 70% hit rate in the finals for, I think, most people, right? I think 33 is arguable simply because the overtime sent it over the edge. That was a good overtime that kind of
I
helped
it's
elevate that match to a good match.
just being there was tough with 25. 33 was an overtime that not much happened, at least in regulation. 49 was boring. 57 was boring. Um, let's see. 74 was good. 65 was good. I thought 84 was boring,
I thought 84 was a good match.
maybe. So I thought 5 of
I'll
them were
tell you
kind of
what
like,
though, like I've never met someone who loves wrestling more than you that gets so bored by watching wrestling.
well, I mean, we had this conversation earlier too, and I said pretty much the exact opposite. At least when I watch matches on Flow, like remember when we talked about Ono and Spencer Lee?
Yes.
And you said it was boring, and I said it doesn't really matter
Yes.
to me. Watching two high level wrestlers wrestle is not boring, but
So
I
why
don't
wouldn't
know.
you
I don't
think that
know.
way for Kekheisen and Srirachi?
I think just like having to sit there in person and sit there and wait for everything to go on. I had to. We sat because I had those second row seats. I had to sit there for like an hour before, just waiting. We were in those seats for an hour before waiting. So I was sitting there waiting, and then a match happens, and then you gotta wait 5-10 minutes, and then a match happens, you gotta wait 5-10 minutes. Match happens 5-10 minutes,
It was
and for
pretty.
it to go overtime is like,
Yeah.
damn man, like like these guys aren't doing anything, and I'm waiting 5-10 minutes, and then I gotta wait for them to go into overtime for
Yeah.
something to happen.
Yeah. For us, the anticipation builds throughout the match. For you, it's building 15 minutes between the matches as well.
Yeah, I will say the brick was not as bad last year. I was yelling, I was booing a lot because it was like every coach saved two bricks for the finals, and I was it was like Oklahoma State, RBY, or not RBY. Vito versus Dayton Fix was insane. It was like a 30-minute match. I was furious
Yeah.
and I was screaming and I was booing. But that was fixed, but it was just I think guys were a little bit hesitant, but Jesse Mendez opened it up for everyone. That was sweet.
Yeah. So I guess we'll maybe something we can go over. What was your favorite finals match?
Jesse Mendez and
This is probably
yeah,
as good a
gotta
time
go.
as any. You want to start with Jesse? Let's just go into Jesse.
Jesse Mendez Hardy goes down by 5 points. Insane comeback. Dude's a dog.
Yeah. My favorite part of that whole match was I don't know if he chose neutral in the second period, but like you could see him walking back to the center, and he looked at his coaches, and he was already down at this point. You could see him kind of give like a nod. He's like, "We're going for it now." Like,
Yeah.
no more being tight, no more staying in a good position. I'm getting to this guy's legs, and we're just gonna go. Like it, you could see his switch turned on, where it was just like, okay, now it's about who's tougher.
Yeah. Because Hardy was in damage control mode, man, and Jesse Mendez
Yeah,
smelt blood in the water. And that was the perfect thing for him to do. He really figured that out. Was like, yeah, yeah, you know what? I can stay in solid position, but I think this guy's not really looking to score on me. So he really changed strategy in the middle of the match, and it worked out well. Teed off on him. Hardy was tired. When he went up 5-0, I was like, this wraps. This match is wraps. But dude, I'm telling you, don't I'm not doubting Jesse Mendez ever again.
I
Um,
know. Yeah,
and
that's
at the
one of the
beginning of
bad
this
takes.
season, in the beginning of this season, I said he's top five or top four pound for pound. And
Yeah, you know
I
I was
went
high
back
on him
on that.
too, earlier this year.
Yeah, and I went back on that for my predictions. I'm looking at my predictions. How did I not have Jesse Mendez at 41s winning it? Insane.
I know. I was thinking about that when I picked Bartlett last week, and I saw him wrestling this week, even before the semis, before he beat Bartlett again, and I was just like, dude, there's no way I should have just stuck to my guns with him. You know, like I think that kid. I think the way he thinks about wrestling is why I like him so much. Did you hear his interview like post match after the semis?
I did. He's just tougher than him.
Yeah, when Quint Kesnick's like, so like, what was it that kind of gave you that firepower to go get that takedown at the end? And he just looks right at the camera and he's like, I was tougher than him. I'm tougher than him. And he didn't know
I
what to
like
say after
that.
that. I was just sitting there like, everyone's thinking it, dude. Hell yeah, say it.
Yeah, I
He
say
broke
it,
him. He
man.
quit.
I like guys are starting to open up and get a little bit more confrontational, not in a bad way, but just like it kind of
They're owning it. They're owning it.
yeah, they're owning it, and I think it's good for the sport for guys to do that. I mean, that's what's happening in MMA, and it's very
Yeah,
marketable. Um,
that's true.
and that's kind of what AJ Ferrari was talking about in his post-match interview. Which do you think he's hit the portal? Do you think
Dude, he
do you think
is
Iowa picks him up?
insane. Uh, shit, maybe. I don't know, dude. I listened to like one of his post match interviews, and I'm just honestly, it made me dislike him less listening to one of his interviews. Like, I think he's saying some not very dumb things. Like, they're kind of smart. Like, I think they're a little intelligent behind their thought process, but his delivery is the most insane thing I think I've ever heard. And it turns me off to the point where I don't want to listen to him.
That was scraping the bottom of a barrel of a compliment, but I'm sure AJ Ferrari would accept it.
I did my best.
I did my best. No,
I
you know
genuinely
what?
tried.
For every for every session, and I've been to NCAA's 10 years in a row now, minus
Yeah.
COVID, if you don't count that, right? 10 years in a row. Um, and I'm telling you, 197s and heavyweights, the stadium is empty. This
Yeah.
stadium, for every session until 197, because he was the last match for third and fourth, packed, packed. Everybody, dude, everybody is waiting for him, and it's a boring match too. It's not crazy. He doesn't get
Every
takedowns on big
time.
guys. It's a
Every
it's a
time.
ride out. It's a ride out, right? And people
How long are
stay.
these stupid coaches going to keep putting their kids underneath? He said.
I know, and they do it still. And he manages to get his riding time and win the match. And I'm telling you, everybody in the stands is waiting for him to do that double birds thing.
Dude, that's the stupidest thing. I
He
hate it.
is
It's so
he
dumb.
is made for the WWE, and you know what? Maybe he could help the sport of wrestling. I
Yeah,
think he could.
maybe. He
I
could.
think he could.
I hate these gimmicks. I really do.
You hate him, but that's how we get
I'm such a
fans. You hate him
traditionalist
now,
with wrestling though.
you're ruining the
I
sport,
know.
bro.
I'm old school.
Old school Iowa guy. Iowa falling
Get in
off,
a
man.
dungeon, turn the lights off, work in the dark, improve.
but nobody sees you. Nobody wants to see it. You know, the old days
Yeah,
of Brett Metcalf and Matt McDonough. I like the guy, but the old days of those guys having a boring interview and running back into the tunnel are over.
just, just being dogs.
Yeah,
I
they're
know.
done.
That's actually kind of crazy that you brought that up. I was thinking about that watching this NCAA's, where I was like, man, they're getting interviews with like more people. Dude, Quint's a freaking animal. You see, I think he'd run through a kid to go get an interview. I really do.
Really?
Yeah, he's determined to get these interviews after these matches. Like I just
Is he
see
the
him
one?
trucking past people.
Is he the one you got the Jesse Mendez interview?
Yeah, he's the guy that's been doing the interviews for the NCAA's for the last shoot, I don't even know how many years. For a while.
What do you think about Shane Sparks?
He's good. No, so Quint's like the ground guy. He's the one doing the in-person mat side interviews. But
Right
Shane
after the
Sparks, I
NCAA
like him.
finals. Yeah, Shane Sparks good.
Semis, any match.
Yeah,
But
he's awesome.
no, it was cool.
But yeah, so I'm interested to see where these guys are gonna go. But before we get into the portal talk, let's talk what's your opinion? What's your opinion on are these 6-year transfers worth the money
Um, Give me some examples of a couple of sixth years, and I'll say yes or no if they were
that
worth
are
it.
coming up? No, no, no. I'm just saying overall because
Well, I think
I'm
it's a
leading
case by
you.
case scenario.
Right, right, right. Okay, right,
Sorry,
all right,
that's a
all right.
boring
So let's
answer.
just
Sorry.
so here's what I wanted to talk about. I actually
Yeah,
don't care about your opinion.
yeah,
I
that's
wanted I
fair.
wanted to I wanted to set this up.
Got you.
You know, the first session, Teamer loses, um, and then later on in the tournament, Parco injury defaults out, and all you're hearing from these coaches are these 6-year transfers, they aren't worth it.
I was
Like
gonna
all
say
we're
there had to
finding
be
out
some
now.
bitterness by these other coaches.
Totally bitter. It was like, and I like to think of myself as a more level-headed guy than these guys. So of course I'm like
Yeah,
sitting there going, "Nah, buddy, these guys are worth it." Right? Because I mean, think about it. Sure, Teamer and Parco didn't end up where they should have been, and they probably got a bag to go to Iowa. And I'm sure there's some other 6-year seniors who didn't pan out. But here's a counter to that. Alira stayed where he was at. He didn't do that good. He went 1-2 or 2-2. Um, who else? Nasir Bailey stayed where he was at. He didn't All-American, right? Richie Figueroa was a returning NCAA champion. He went 1-2, right? There's
okay,
one
so what's your
counter.
argument here?
There's one counter, right? So it's like it doesn't matter if they're transfers. Some guys just don't pan out. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Some guys just
yeah.
don't
I mean,
have
All
a good
American
tournament.
wrestling is hard. Winning the matches at NCAA's is hard to do.
Yes, and it doesn't matter if you got $150,000, $250,000 to pay a kid. You cannot guarantee a national championship. You cannot guarantee an All American
Yes,
status. That
yes.
shit is hard. Pardon my
Agreed.
French.
No, agreed.
But here's another counter. As the tournament goes on, oh, Buchanan wins the tournament. Wyatt Hendrickson wins the tournament. Caliendo is a finalist. Dean Hamity
He's
wins
not
the
sixth year.
tournament. Transfers. They're not talking about
Transfers.
6 years
Got you.
specifically. They're
Got
just
you.
talking about
Yeah, yeah,
transfers, right? Yeah, Figs
yeah.
wasn't a 6 year, and neither was Nasir Bailey, but
Yeah.
but whatever. And three of the top four finishers at 197 were transfers. I think there were no. AJ's not a 6th year. Three of the top four. So it pans out. I'm sorry for anyone out there. It's not going anywhere, and we're seeing with the transfer portal now. It is a bigger deal this year. They're going to be even more transfers. Rocco Welsh just went to Penn State. He wasn't even really in the portal. I didn't feel like for more than 10 seconds before he went to Penn State. Ono
That's
wasn't even
crazy,
in the
dude. I didn't know
what
Rocco Welsh was even in the portal. That happened
going to Penn State.
for what
Rocco
weight class?
Welsh.
84.
Probably 184, yeah. Which is it's you know what? It's kind of a shame because I thought you know what? I'm not a big Ohio State guy, but I always think people are kind of underestimating Ohio
Dude,
State.
think about that at 184 and 197. At 184, you got Ryder Regotsky and now Rocco Welsh. 97, you got Josh Barr, NCAA finalist, and Connor Marisola, who was one of the top recruits in the last year. 4 kids for 2 weight classes there.
That's tough.
That's insane.
Think one of them hits the portal?
Oh, dude, I don't even know who beat it, who out right now. I mean, I guess you would have
Uh,
to assume that it'd be Welsh and then Barr, right? But I mean, Rygotsky and Connor Mirasola were two of the top recruits coming out of both of their classes.
Ragazzi's good.
And
Ryder
so was
Ragazzi's
Connor.
really
Shit,
good.
shit, dude. I mean, he beat you twice.
Once. Well, Connor twice. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
think
like.
I'm
And
about
it's
Welsh.
not just you. He beat Mark Hall. He's beat Max Dean. Like he's beaten some high level guys. And Josh Barr is
Didn't
a
beat Mark
redshirt
Hall.
freshman.
Didn't beat
Not
Mark
Mark Hall.
Hall.
He lost to Mark Hall. My bad. My bad. He lost to Mark Hall.
Yeah,
It was close.
close match with Mark Hall, 4-2 or something. But
My
still,
fault.
yeah,
Yeah.
tough kid. But Matt beat Max Dean. Big.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's insane that that's their four now for those two weight classes.
Yeah. But so yeah, so I mean, yeah, you got any thoughts on this 6 year stuff? I kind of just said my case, but or
Yeah.
this
No, I
transfer
mean,
stuff.
um, I think my thoughts that I think there should be like a 2 year term limit. I think that if you commit to a school, it should be at least 2 years. Um, I just think that that's I don't know. I maybe there can be exceptions if a coach gets fired, right? But other than that, I just feel like we're, there are values that you can learn from toughing some stuff out, and I don't think the kids are learning those values if it's super easy to learn or just to go to the portal. That's my
Right, right.
biggest thing with it,
Yeah. I mean, I
right? Things
think
get tough and they leave.
yeah, and I think right now you're not seeing guys just chase a bag 1 year after another. I think in the contracts,
It,
these
I'll say this: even if it was just chasing a bag 1 year to the next, I don't think that's a very moral way to live. So I wouldn't do that personally.
yeah.
Pursuing money
But
over relationships.
yeah, I mean that's probably yeah, it's not a moral way to live, but um
I can't
yeah,
hate on anybody else doing it though. So
yeah. But I think in the contracts these people are cooking up. They're obviously going to say if you stay with us for 1 year, you only get this, but if you stay with us for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you get this much money. Um, so
I would imagine
we'll
that
see.
these contracts are going to. I obviously I've never seen one. Right, I'm too old, but I would imagine these contracts have to have some sort of language in there to like
Yeah,
protect themselves, secure themselves.
these these people who are paying the money, they're covering their ass. They're not just going to say, "Here's $250,000. Hopefully, you stay with us for these next 3 years." They're going, "No, no, no. $250,000 if you stay here for 3 years.
It had to
If
have
you
been
stay
like
here for
that
three
when it
years."
first started, though. Well, that's what I mean. Like I feel like it's getting better
Yeah,
as
yeah,
this process
yeah,
progresses.
yeah. I think guys are leaving now just because maybe they didn't get that much money, and now they want to get even
Yeah, I
even
mean,
more.
I guess my take on it is if you look at your lineup and you see holes or places where it can be upgraded, utilize it, right? Why wouldn't you? You'd be
Yeah,
insane and foolish not to at this point, right? You either adapt or die as a coach.
yeah. Like if I was Ryder Rogotsky, I'm getting out of
Yeah, but
there.
here's the thing, though. I don't think that people can contact him still. Like he
No,
has to
he's gonna
put
hit the
his name
portal.
in. So like that's kind of a personal thing. So it like to a certain extent, these coaches are limited in who they can go after until they see who's available. You know.
Yeah, yeah. But let's talk about who's in the portal already. This is insane.
Well,
I
do you want
mean,
to finish up NCAA's or do you want to just keep bouncing back and forth? I'm cool with whatever. I'm down to
oh,
just
let's
bounce
yeah,
back
yeah.
and forth, but
Okay,
maybe we should get
we're
some
bouncing. Let's go
NCAA
NCAA's.
stuff out. Yeah,
25s. I had Lilidol. He had a
winning
good.
it
He
all.
took
Yep.
third. Yeah, he took third,
Right.
right? He had a good tournament.
Lilidal took third. Yes.
Vincent Robinson, great tournament.
Yeah, I thought about picking him when we were first doing it, but I just thought that Matt Ramos, kind of with the experience, having been there, he's big, he's strong. I I thought that was a safe pick. I thought he'd make it to the final, but lo and behold, Vincent Robinson comes through.
Yeah, I have one of our guys on the team who actually wrestled Vincent Robinson had Vincent Robinson winning it. Coda Holman. He wrestled Vincent Robinson at the Cliff Keen tournament.
Yep.
Actually had a decently close match with him. I don't think he got majored or anything, but he had him winning it. I just didn't see him overtaking Lilidol. And I didn't know Vincent Robinson was a freshman.
Redshirt freshman, but yeah.
Yeah, Richard freshman. I didn't know that. but I didn't see him
Yep.
beating Lilidol. The Lehigh kid beating Lilidol, I think, was a big contributor to Vincent Robinson winning that tournament.
100%. There were some upsets that kind of influenced the results. Like Troy Spratley making it to the. Shout out to my brother. He called that before the tournament that Spratley was tough. He picked him to win it.
I did like Spratley as well. I did like Spratley as well.
He's tough. He I like how low he gets. He's tough to wrestle in those positions.
It would be good. Maybe next time we do our picks for NCAA tournaments, we should have ranked choice. You know what that is?
Yeah. Where you get like, I, but I've done it before where it's like you get one rank per weight or something like that, or like you get a point system per rank or whatever of the
Right?
athlete. But
Yeah, so this would be like you pick your top three favorites to so your number one it would be Vincent Robinson, number two would be Spratley, number
oh
three would
yeah,
be Lilidol.
I haven't done that yet. The only one that I've done is where like the seeds come out. You pick one kid per seed, like per weight class or something like that.
Right?
So like my 8 seed would be the 65 guy. I have my 8 seed in that bracket making it to the finals or whatever. I've done
Yeah.
that.
I don't know if I would have had Vincent Robinson in my top three, so that was really surprising. But Troy Spratley, I did think was a dog. I thought that he could do it.
Yeah, Spratty stuff. How about Nicola Rivera making it to the blood rounds?
I know that was impressive, and he had a unfortunate draw too with Braden Davis. We could have had two
Yeah.
All-Americans with
Uh,
Wisconsin,
Braden Davis is 33.
or not Braden Davis.
Lilidol.
Lilidol. Sorry,
Yeah,
yeah, he had Lilidol in the blood rounds, which was unfortunate.
yeah.
And he had a chance. Lilidol slapped on a full Nelson first period, locked his
I
hands
didn't get
too
to
in the
watch
first
that
period.
match.
So it was
He had 2
3-2 going into
penalty
the
points in
second.
the first period.
Two penalty points in the first period, yeah.
Oh shit.
And here's also something about this NCAA tournament, like six, like the vast majority of Penn State blood round matches were on the mat. Of Penn State blood round matches were on the mat that was in front of the Penn State section.
See, I know so many people that would be like, "That's collusion. They did that on purpose. They wanted their crowd right there. They're trying to influence Penn
Collusion.
State winning."
Yeah. And now you know what? I don't put my tin hat on very much, but that's a
Yeah,
tin hat moment for
you
me. Come
felt
on.
it. You felt it.
Oh yeah, because it was him, it was Braden Davis, it was Bo Bartlett, it was Shane Van Ness. It was like all these
And
guys
Kasek,
are gonna be here,
right?
and
Or
Kasak, I believe.
yeah, they
Yeah,
knew. They knew that they were going for that 10 All Americans, and yeah,
it
they
was
cooked the
insane,
books right
dude.
there.
But yeah. So anyway, that's interesting. But 33s, you go.
Yeah, dude, Lucas Bird. I again should have stuck with my guns. Remember back in WCA, I think is that what the All Star thing is? NWCA? Yeah.
Yeah,
I picked him over Bailey, and I remember back then just being convinced that he was going to win NCAA's. But then I remember Ayala's tough, right? And then I remember there's so many other good guys in that bracket, but he came on tough at the end, dude. Winning Big Tens, winning the NCAA's, like 2 back-to-back really good weekends, impressed me a lot.
only one loss the whole year.
To
Take it
Ayala
all.
in the duel.
Yeah, very impressive season for him. And cool, he was a sixth year, I believe, fifth or sixth year.
Yeah, dude, that was the other funniest thing for that night. My roommate, he was looking at it. He's like, yeah. When they started talking about his girlfriend, he's like, oh yeah, I heard it. She's like some volleyball player. I was like, oh, there's no way. Maybe she was like a libero or something, right? The short girl in the middle, digging all the time. But he runs and jumps into her arms and then pans to her, and she's like, no shit, 2 of him. And I'm just looking at it. I was like, there's no way that's real, right? Like he's literally at her navel, hugging her, and I'm like, this isn't real life, dude. That should
You
have been
didn't
my
know about
first
this?
sign. No, I didn't. That should have been my first sign that Wyatt Hendrickson was winning that night. This isn't right. Something feels weird. Gable's going down. I should
This
have
whole
known.
tournament's crazy, man. Something's gonna
Something's
happen.
going on.
Something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't know about he's got a whole TikTok with him and his girlfriend
Yeah, I
just about
found that
being
out
like,
afterwards. I looked it up, and they're leaning into it. It's kind of funny.
yeah, my girlfriend doesn't watch anything about wrestling, but she knows Lucas Bird and his girlfriend.
Really?
Yeah, Maddie knows. Maddie knows.
That's
She thinks it's
hilarious,
funny.
actually.
Girls
What
love
do you
that
think
stuff,
about
man.
Ayala taking second twice?
Um,
Do you think he
I
makes
just
that jump and gets to number one? I think he does.
yeah, I think he can. I mean, he's gonna have his work cut out for him. 33s. Oh, oh yeah. What's his name? Crookum's gonna come back.
Yeah,
That'd be
that's
tough. That'd be
tough.
really tough.
I,
Um,
I like Ayala a lot, man. I really like the way he wrestles. He reminds me of like what I wanted to do in college, right? Because I thought that that's how big I was going to be, but then I just kind of got really big in
oh,
college. Like
I
that's
don't
what I
think he
thought.
wins it. I don't think he wins it ever.
Ever? Who's going in
Ever.
at 33? Oh no. Is that who you're talking about? Dude, that's
He's
insane.
done,
We can
bro.
talk about that. We should talk about
He's
that more. Like
not
that's insane.
he's not beating Ono. I mean, Ono smoked Marcus Blaze. Smoked him. Ono smoked, beat Spencer Lee. This dude's got a hit list. Beat Vito
That's
Arujá
insane.
bad.
I know. I know. Dude, it's
Drake
crazy that
Ayala,
Ano's coming.
Drake Ayala does not stand a chance. If Ono learns how to get off bottom, this whole which is going to be pretty simple, I think. He's going to have to
Do
do
you
that.
think?
I mean, let's say simple,
I don't
but
know. I don't know. You catch a guy who's pretty grippy, you might be stuck.
well, he can take him down. And let's just say at
Oh, for
least he
sure.
just learns how to not get turned. He'll take him down, bro. I mean, he could take down Spencer Lee. He could take down Vito Arujá. He teched Vito Arujá on takedowns. I don't know
Yeah,
takedowns, but he 10 on him. He 10 on him. Yeah, I don't think Drake Ayala wins.
that's kind of crazy. I kind of assumed. I heard earlier that day. Shout out Nate. Nate's the first guy who broke this news for me when I heard that he was enrolled as a student. Right,
I
I
heard
heard it
that
on
too
their
earlier that
show.
day.
I heard it earlier that day that like on their show that he's enrolled as a student now. I was like, that's kind of interesting. Obviously, that leads you to believe that like he's going to compete there, which is what Nate was saying and kind of leading into.
Of
And then
course.
later that day, you get the notification that says he's like a student and he's going to
Yo,
wrestle.
podcasting.
I can't come and
Is
say
that
hi.
is that Zaxi?
Xander, come on
Let
in.
me yeah, come and say hi.
Yeah. What's up, Pat?
What's up, dude?
What's going on?
Not much, just
He says, "What's up,
podcasting.
dude?"
Evan already told you.
I just got back from practice, man. I was
He just got
coaching.
back. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But all
yeah.
right, I'll let you guys get back to it. I just want to put my stuff down.
That's my twin brother. Everyone.
Yeah, I'm
That's
Xander.
Zaxi
Nice to meet
Xander.
you guys.
We're fraternal. Wow, who did the balloons?
But all right, guys. I'll catch you guys later. You guys have a good one.
All right.
See you,
Yeah.
Xander.
I'll be back.
All right. But yeah. So
Yeah.
it's my twin brother.
All right.
Xander.
141. You're up. We should circle back to
141. Best match of the finals, at least. Maybe of the tournament. Jesse Mendez
Yeah,
goes
dude.
down 5-0. I thought it was wraps. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I thought that I thought the kid going into this year was the best wrestler, one of the best wrestlers in the NCAA tournament, period, or
Yeah.
in NCAA wrestling. I mean, he had a hit list of James Green, Joey McKenna, Yanni Diakomahalis. He cooked Yanni Diakomahalis at Olympic Team Trials in freestyle in Yanni Diakomahalis' own game. Super impressive. I doubted him. I doubted him going into the NCAA tournament. Should not have done so. Totally regret that. I think this NCAA tournament though, I put a lot of emphasis on how guys did at conference because I thought it had a lot to do with their confidence going into postseason, whatever.
Yeah.
But some guys just turn up at the tournament, and this is kind of like what Vincenzo Joseph was known for.
Yeah.
Everyone, he wouldn't do that great at the Big Tens, and everyone would say because he took
Right.
third at Big Tens his freshman year, never
Well, he
won the
lost
Big
to
Tens.
Marinelli like every year.
Yeah, he got cooked by Marinelli and then won the tournament. So I was like, I guess I got to consider that more. Next time I do my picks, I'm gonna be a little bit more holistic about how I approach who's gonna win.
I think that's fair. I think that it's also tough. It's kind of with that same thought process with like Big Ten that kind of influenced what I thought a lot, right? But I think that's why I picked Bo Bartlett because just that whole year he kind of just for some reason had Mendez's number. You know what I mean? And it's been like that before, and they were 50-50, and then Jesse pulled it out last year. I just feel like being that good 2 weeks in a row is insane. It's like Lucas Bird. Dude, winning Big Tens and then also winning NCAA's back to back weekends is insane to me. You know what I mean? Like that has got to be
Yeah.
so hard to do because everybody's just so close. That margin of error between the opponents is so close. So to be that consistent against the highest level of wrestlers for 2 weeks in a row is so hard.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, you would think though, all right, this guy's on fire. He's gonna do it.
Yeah, no, no,
He's
I
gonna do
get
it
the thought
again.
process. I get the thought process. But that's funny that
Yeah.
you see it as like who did well. I'm picking that guy, and I'm more like that guy did well. That doesn't mean he's doing well again.
Yeah, exactly. Because throughout the whole tournament, someone asked me about 141s. It was like, oh yeah, I got Brock Hardy. Brock Hardy's winning it. You know, but it's wrong, man.
He did
Definitely
impress
did
me,
not pick
man.
that one.
Going into this year, like I knew he was a tough guy to beat just because of his style, but I didn't really think that he had NCAA runner-up inside of him. So, I mean,
Yeah,
he
he
had a
had a
hell
lot
of
of
a year.
had a lot of great interviews too. Just
Well, he's
I
a
felt
wise old
like when I
man.
was yeah, he's an old man. I think he went on a Mormon mission too. Don't
Yeah, he
quote
went on
me
a
on
2 year
that.
mission. I don't
Yeah.
know if it was Mormon or
So
not, but I know it was a 2 year mission. They said.
2-year mission, whatever religion it was, but nonetheless, he's an old man. He's like I was.
Yep.
But yeah, super impressive. All right, 149.
Rich
What do you
Lovett.
think? Yeah.
It was a very boring match, right? It's boring in the sense of like no action, but if you like it from a technical aspect, that was really good hand fighting. A lot was made because this was a rematch of last year. Can't remember if it was semis or finals, but they chose top in a 0-0 position like that, and Henson
Semis,
got away.
semis.
Yes, and
Yeah.
Henson got away and won that match last year. Right? They were kind of making a whole deal about it on ESPN. They're like, no, we're making the smart decision. We're going down this year, and led to a win. You know, I thought 49. I think Caleb Henson's a really good wrestler, but I think depth wise, 49 was pretty weak in my opinion. I don't know how you felt about it.
Um, I don't think it was that weak.
Really?
I mean, the top three was pretty nuts. After that, it wasn't too crazy. But Van Ness, Lovett, and Henson,
I mean, I
pretty
think
weight
Van Ness
class.
is very good, but
Enough to keep it
I just think
interesting.
about 49 pounders of the past. Like I just felt like that was always like where one of the best guys in the country were. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Was that weight
It
class, and it's just not that case anymore.
yeah. This is interesting. Every single one of Caleb Henson's matches were a decision. 4-0 against Teague Travis, 5-1 against Abbas, sudden victory against Jordan Williams, 6-2 against Emilio, and then in the finals, 1-0. Every single one of his matches was a
That's
decision.
just kind of the style he wrestles.
And you know what? I don't mind it. He's like a Jason Voorhees type, man. He just walks you down, which impresses me. But I guess it can be boring. The finals match was boring. Um, but nonetheless, I do like watching him wrestle. He's a dog. He's a BAMF. I like watching him wrestle. But
Nah,
I didn't
dude,
have Love It.
Jesse Mendez won that award for me. If we could go back and you asked me again, I'd say Jesse Mendez is the BMF for sure.
Yeah, but I was of all the finalists, Henson's a top tier pick for BAMF.
Why did
You
you
know,
add the A? That's Are we making our own award? BAMF now? I know
is it
what it
just
stands
BMF?
for, but yes, the BMF title.
All right, my bad.
We can
I was
make our
putting
own,
A on
dude.
it.
Banff. I like Banff.
Banff is not bad. It sounds good. Let's do a Banff. That's how we get this podcast going, dude. We're gonna do the Banff.
Everyone's
Um,
gonna be like, "Who's the Banff?"
yeah, he's up there. He's a top tier pick. Um,
Jesse
but
Mendez.
yeah,
Write it down.
Van Ness. Oh God, Van Ness and Bartlett didn't do it for Penn State. They were good guys.
Yeah.
Who we thought would be in the finals going into the season.
What'd you think of that
Um,
49-pound finals match though, with Lovett and Henson?
Not much. It was boring. I didn't really
Do
care
you
for it too
really
much.
have zero thoughts just because it was boring? Come on, man.
Well,
You
I mean, I
tech
thought I thought
like
going into it.
assess it.
Well, I like seeing Ridge Lovett, a 6-year senior, win it. And he won it his style, got the ride out, um, played defense at the end of the match, but it's like, hey, dude, you know what? You picked neutral. I got my escape. You didn't want to enter my game, so he got to play the game. I think Henson's gonna have to adjust going into next
Yeah.
season. He's gonna have to adjust. I mean, every single one of these matches, 4-0, 5-1, 8-5, 6-2. His best match was the semifinals match, ironically, um, won by 4 points. But uh, gosh, he's gonna have to do something different next year. I do think he's kind of. I think that Henson is in a lull this year, having been the NCAA champion. He's got a target on his back. I think he can. I think he'll shake that. I think he'll shake that and he'll come out. I think he can dominate guys a lot better than he did.
This is
But
off topic, but you know who impressed me this weekend was Virginia Tech. I felt like I saw a lot of their guys doing well.
Virginia Tech,
They got a good program. They're on a good program over there.
I like Virginia Tech. I'm trying to remember who else. Uh,
Well,
who else was?
Ventresca at 25.
Yeah, you know who I thought going into this year. Oh, gosh, I guess I should have put it in the bad take jar. I thought TJ Stewart would be
Sam
a
went
dog.
down.
He didn't even qualify for the tournament.
Did he not qualify or did he not wrestle?
He didn't qualify.
Did he wrestled at ACCs and didn't qualify? And didn't
Did
get
not
a
qualify.
bid?
Did not get a bid. Did not get a bid.
Did he wrestle this year?
Yep. He was an All-American last year. I was like,
How
I
does he
really
not get
liked
a bid
watching
then?
that guy. Just because you're an NCAA, just because you're a returning NCAA
I
All-American
understand
does
that,
not
but
mean
like his season couldn't have been that
it was
dire
bad.
to the point.
It was bad.
Are you serious?
Dashiell Lamer, our guy at Cal Poly, got the alternate. I forget who got the at-large bid. Or I forget all the at-large bids, but he didn't get it because Dashiell had majored him earlier this season, and so
He
Dashiell got
majored TJ Stewart.
yeah, major TJ Stewart.
That's insane.
Yeah, he
Dude,
just really
staying
didn't.
consistent in wrestling is like one of the hardest things to do, I'm sure.
It's hard, man. I'm telling you. Every time I look at, when I was wrestling in this bracket, it was just I would look at these brackets, and I would see like 10 guys, and I'd be like, I got to be better than every single one of these guys to make this podium,
Yeah,
man.
you look at it and it's almost just like, how?
Dude, it's insane. That's exactly what I would be like. I'd be like, how am I going to do this? I remember my freshman year, it was Isaiah Martinez, Alex Marinelli, Chance Marsteller, Vincenzo Joseph, Isaiah White, Chandler Rogers, Logan Massa. It was like, gosh, how am I going to do this? And I ended up taking third somehow. But
This
I
is a
remember
good question, I
looking at it,
guess, at
just
this
being like,
point.
oh my gosh. Oh,
So you're
Richie
looking
Lewis
at
was
it.
in that bracket.
Yeah,
But
that all's going on in your head, right? When the brackets come out, how are you like? Is it just focusing on the one match at a time? Like, how are you getting through that in the moment?
yeah, I mean, you just can't focus on winning and losing so much. I think I did that
I
a
know.
lot in my career.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know it sounds stupid, but yeah, if I focus on I have to beat this guy, I have to outscore this guy every match. It's like, no, dude, you gotta like Jesse Mendez, right? You gotta be a dog. You gotta be tougher than that guy. So you can't really focus on the points and how are you gonna do this. And I never really like to focus too much on strategy other than small
Yeah.
little details. But I think people kind of overcomplicate things. You can't overcomplicate it, man. Just go
Yeah.
out there and scrap, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
That's cool. I
So
like that.
that was me. But I believe me, I had times where I got overwhelmed looking at those brackets, going, "Oh my gosh!" I was like the 11 seed or something my freshman year.
Yeah.
But all right,
Oh, hey, we should
157.
talk about Zan Fugit. We talked about 33. Zan Fugit, All American. That's insane.
Fugit.
Did not see that coming. I don't know if anybody did. Hell of a tournament, dude.
Zeth Romney too. Come on, give my boy some
Yeah,
credit.
that's your job. That's your guy.
Third place, Seth Romney. Another, even as a coach, dude, I look at these brackets and I go, how is he going to do it? How is he going to do it? And sure enough, man, like he's someone who he takes it one match at a time. He doesn't overcomplicate
Oh, yeah,
things. He's ready to wrestle when he needs to wrestle. But there were good guys, man, who made that blood round, who didn't. Bazakis, McGonigal, or Shaver, dude. Oh my gosh. At 133, Shaver drops down onto Kaya Orini.
Dude, we could
Returning
probably do an
All-American.
entire episode of just going through the brackets and looking at the backside and like, no way these guys had to wrestle in the second round on the backside. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just insane sometimes looking at this tournament.
To wrap up 133, I just want to give Shaver some credit. Dude drops down onto Orini and
Yep.
wins. beats him in sudden victory. Then Shabra has Brown from Maryland, wins again in sudden victory 4-1. Then he has Noto, a returning All-American, wins again in the tiebreakers 9-5. My gosh. Then he has McGonigal and loses in the blood rounds. But, dude, he's a dog. He's a dog. I
Yeah,
just wanted to give him some
tough.
credit.
It's a tough tournament. All
So,
right,
yeah.
157. You're up.
157.
We gotta hustle up the pace a little bit. It's getting late.
All right. 157
Halfway
was
through.
chaos. Chumley makes the semis. Blaze makes the semis, beats Kasak. Crazy scramble to finish it up.
Yep.
Great match. Shapiro loses to Taylor in the semifinals. Antro Taylor wins the whole freaking thing. Insane. That was sweet.
Surprised me.
He's getting some flack for stalling in the finals or whatever, but it's like, hey man, he got the takedown. Blaze wasn't able to get it done. But hats off to Blaze. Dude made it to the finals, beat the number 1 seed, had a phenomenal tournament. Purdue had a phenomenal tournament.
Yeah.
And
I'm
hats
happy
off
for
to
him.
Blaze.
I think that's cool. When your younger brother is like as popular as he is, and you're kind of the forgotten man, and then you go out there, you go to the NCAA finals. That's pretty cool to see.
I'm just wondering if that changes the dynamic. Does Joey Blaze go to Penn State? Does Marcus Blaze think about going to Purdue?
I don't think Marcus Blaze is going to. Isn't he already committed to Penn State?
We've seen crazier things happen than decommitments.
No. But he is committed to Penn State, correct?
Yeah, he's committed to Penn State.
Okay. And that's at 57. I would not assume that Blaze would go to Penn State. I guess they would probably stay respectively where they're at. Is my take.
Yeah, I just think your brother makes the NCAA finals at Penn State, at Purdue. That's pretty cool. What about you?
Bless you. It works every time, dude. You don't have to do it anymore, do you?
What do you think about 157s? What do you think about 157s?
It was definitely a slow-paced match. I think Blaze is tough. I think if he would have gotten to some more wrestling positions a little earlier, it might have boded well for him. Right? I think he probably had the gas tank in that match, and I don't think he did enough in the first or second period to kind of utilize it. And then Taylor was able to kind of capitalize off a lull at the end of the second period and go get that takedown.
Right.
He wrestled just a smarter match, I think, than Blaze did. Better tactics.
Yeah, for sure.
Better tactics.
Yeah, everyone in the stadium was booing Antro Taylor, and I was like, he did it, man. He did what he needed to do. I mean, I didn't see much
exactly what he needed to do.
Yeah, I didn't see much being done by Blaze other than some half attempt shots. Like I didn't think he was really. I think he was more looking for a stall call than he was looking to take the guy down.
Yeah, which is tough though too, because it's like when it's only that 1 point away. Some kids, I do think, like, well, I don't need to take that risk of getting to a takedown where I might get taken down myself. If I can just kind of push this guy a lot, I have enough time, right? I have a minute and 20 seconds. Maybe I can get 2 stall calls if I get him to the edge. And it's just like, these guys are high-level wrestlers too. You don't think that he's stalled before? Dude, he knows how to stall.
It's like, you think a ref is going to make that call in the NCAA finals? You think a ref is going to put it in his own hands? Yes. Right. In the NCAA finals, come on. Like, talk about strategy. You should know going into the NCAA finals, this is not going to be decided by a stall call unless it's unless it's running.
I think that we both agree on this, and I think that's why we both loved Jesse Mendez's match. He realized that, oh shit, this is going bad. I need to start making things go my way. Like now.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
He didn't sit and hold on when he got, like, I think it was 5-5 or 6-5. He didn't sit and wait. He progressed, right? He continued to score points. He wasn't going to let Brock Hardy's style get him in trouble with, like, that clinginess.
Exactly. Yeah. He got it done. He did what he needed to do.
I just think there was a miscalculation of how to wrestle that match by Blaze.
For sure, yeah. I think he might regret that, but he's got a few more years anyway.
Yeah.
65. What do you think?
Yes. Was it me first?
Yep.
I thought it was a good match. I mean, I think Mitchell was pretty offensive, but I definitely don't think he was as offensive as you've seen him in the past. Maybe a little bit more reserved, a little bit more tactical. Just makes sense. Higher stakes. right? It's just kind of a natural thing, I would think,
I think he
especially
was
when it's his
doing.
first. I think going forward, he might open it up a little bit more.
Yeah, I think he was doing more or
Yep.
doing just as much, but I don't think he was necessarily trying to score as much. But still, won the freaking tournament, man. Hats off
Yeah.
to that kid. Congratulations to
That's
Mitchell
sick.
Messenbrink. Super awesome.
Yeah.
AWA kid.
Wisco native.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. We
Um,
should talk about Cody. Cody had 2 tough matches back to back. Cody Gable there at 65, but
that was
hats.
tough.
I mean, hats off to him, man. He had a hell of a season just making it there. So proud of him.
Yeah, man, making the tournament. No one expected that. I mean, I think we expected someone from the Wisconsin team to surprise everyone at Big Tens and make the tournament, and he happened to be the guy.
Yeah, that's true.
And super awesome, man. Nobody saw that coming. Beats Tyler Lillard at Big Tens, gets a spot. Dude, man, making it to the tournament is hard enough. So congratulations, Cody Gable.
Yeah.
Um, next 174.
165. Oh, yeah. Did you give me your take on Mitchell? Just that he was doing more, just not attacking as much?
Yeah, I think he was his activity was up, but I don't think he was committing too much to his attacks. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I would agree.
174. I called it right
You
here
did.
on this podcast. Called it.
I don't know if you can see this.
Hmm.
Yeah, I had that in
King
the
Henry.
bad take jar. I took it out. I felt like it doesn't deserve to be in the bad take jar, so it is no longer in here. You had a good take, Evan. Nice job.
Bad take turns to good take. My
Yep,
first one.
that's no longer in the jar. That
I
was
had a
insane.
lot of them. It wasn't that insane. I don't see, and that's you know what? Maybe I don't know what it is. I didn't consider it a bad take. I was confident about it, but and he had some close ones, but I'm telling you, Hamley's a
His win
dog.
over, his win over,
Haynes.
his name is this. Yes, thank you. His win over Haynes. I did not see that happening. I really didn't. And I think even after I watched it, I was surprised and I was like, holy cow. Because I think his second time wrestling Keegan was going to be better for him, obviously. Um, but for some reason, I didn't think that he was going to get past Haynes' defense in his hand fight.
He took him down quick with that post inside arm
Yep.
ankle pick.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought the way that I've seen Hamdy wrestle really solid guys like Patrick Kennedy before from Iowa, who isn't Haynes
It's not the same
caliber.
level, but I get what you're saying.
He made easy work of him, and I thought that meant a good amount to me. So that's why I made that pick.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a good pick by you.
Yep. But
Congrats.
congrats to O'Toole on a good career. That kid's also a dog. Like probably two of my favorite wrestlers to watch, Hamity and O'Toole. Got to see them wrestle. That's honestly, I know the upset with Gable and Hendrickson was a once in a lifetime thing, but I think watching Hamity and O'Toole is also a once in a lifetime thing. Those guys
Dude,
are
O'Toole,
awesome
I love
competitors.
watching O'Toole wrestle because I think he's probably got the sharpest mind for wrestling in the sport right now. For NCAA, at least, I'll say. Just watching him wrestle, dude, he's wrestling on a torn ACL. You know,
Yeah.
like he's wrestling on a torn ACL, and you can visibly see that he's not what he used to be. I feel like for guys like Spencer, he made his money on top with that bar, which is this sounds bad and sounds like a hater, but like you don't really need your knee for that, you know. Keegan's a
Right.
scrambler. You kind of need your knee for a scramble or for an attack and how to wrestle out of positions like that. You need your ACL, I feel like. And he was able to adjust his style to continually beat the best guys in the country. You know what I mean? And the adjustments he made mid match, like you could just see him thinking about positions, and it was really cool to see. I enjoyed it a lot.
And that says so much about mindset too. It's just like I'm gonna wrestle completely different and I'm still gonna figure out how to beat this guy.
Dude, I see some
Incredible.
kids sometimes obviously they're kids, but they jam a knuckle and like their day is ruined. They can't wrestle for 2 weeks.
Yeah. They can't figure it
This
out.
kid's wrestling with a torn ACL, and he's like, I don't care. I still need to find a way to win.
Yeah.
Like, obviously,
figure
there's
it out.
levels to this, but I mean, at some point, you either want it or you don't.
Yeah, man. That guy's a competitor. And Hamity and O'Toole are my favorite competitors. most
Mendez,
exciting
bro.
guys to watch in the sport. Most exciting guys to watch in the sport. Mendez
Is
is a competitor. I
Mendez?
don't know if he's as exciting.
That's fair. I like watching him. I think he's just nonstop, dude. Anyway, moving on. We got to
184.
get off of Mendez, dude. We got an infinity for him.
Strachey makes history.
Yeah,
5th time.
yeah.
It's never gonna
I don't
happen
know.
again. It's never gonna happen again.
It won't ever
Um,
happen again. That's crazy.
Great to see. Hate to see Kekheisen lose it. That would have been a story. Would that have been
Yeah,
bigger than Gable losing to Hendrickson?
I don't think so.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
are we talking about perception wise or like for stakes? Yeah, I think there was more on the line for Storaci than there was for Gable. But I just think that with the notoriety that Gable brings to the sport, again, not close.
No, I don't. I don't think it was close. I don't think it was close either. But it would have been. It would have been a shocker. But Gable was just so predicted to win.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What did you think about Kekheisen versus McAnally? Dude, McAnally's a
I
dog. He
Shout
is
out to
good.
Max McAnally. That kid should win it next year.
He
I
is
think
so good.
so good. Redshirt freshman has an overtime match with Strachey. Is in on the match-winning takedown against Kekheisen, and Kekheisen the scrambles come back out of Kekheisen, and he beats him. He beats him,
What'd you
man. That
think?
was dude.
What'd you think?
That was also a moment where the stadium erupted. The stadium went
Really?
crazy, and there's 6 matches going
Yeah.
on, and the stadium went ballistic when that happened. It was sick. I was going crazy. Gets in on his
Yeah. I
single leg, lifts it
wish.
up. Kekheisen dives underneath and takes him down. It's sick.
That's insane. Dude, the way Max McAnally might be the best athlete in wrestling right now. That might be a hot take. Overall, I
Um,
think he might be the best athlete. He's so strong. His reactions to attacks is insane. I don't know if I watch people get to his legs.
no, hard to get to his legs. Very hard to get to his legs. Starachi, I think, was the only one that got to his legs.
And yeah, and he wasn't doing it consistently.
I think Kekheisen got to his legs, just didn't finish, which is also impressive.
I think he stopped attacking as much. Like Parker's usually a guy who's nonstop attacking. He had to change it up, man. He wasn't attacking as much as he normally does because
He knew.
McAnally's like down blocks to reattacks are like insanely fast.
Yeah.
But we just got done talking about the third place guy, and there's a guy who won 5 national titles in that same weight class. So kind of shows you
Yeah,
where our
I mean,
priorities are, I guess.
but he's the future, so I mean, I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's worthwhile talking about. But yeah, Carter Starachi, I mean, he's in the GOAT conversation, doing it 5 times in a row. Dude, it's hard to get it done once, 5 times in a row. I mean, I'd like to know what his formula is, what goes on in his mind, how he
How
how he
many
believes in himself so much to do it.
how many losses did he have in college?
I think only 2 guys ever beat him.
2.
Two. DJ Washington and Michael Kemmerer. I think he's lost 3 times. In the duel against Kemmerer,
DJ
in
Washington.
DJ Washington, yeah.
Sorry, that's not no respect to
Crazy,
DJ
right?
Washington, but
Well,
what
funny
the
enough,
hell?
it's funny that 2 Penn State greats have had what the heck is this feature? I like
How
it.
did you do your 2 right there?
2 Penn State, there it goes again. But anyway, 2 Penn State greats. Bo Nickel and DJ Washington have both been taken down and beaten by 2 Indiana guys. Nate Jackson beat Bo Nickel. DJ Washington beat Carter Strachey. I think that's interesting.
Would you say that DJ Washington's on Nate Jackson's level?
No, but would you think Nate Jackson would be able to beat Bo Nickel? No.
No, but still, I would say it's significantly more likely than DJ Washington getting a win. Like,
No, I'm just saying the Penn State Indiana dynamic.
yeah, I get the correlation. Sorry, I
Yeah.
didn't.
And
You're right. I didn't talk about that enough.
yeah, but I thought that's interesting. You put your tin hat on about that for the night and tell me what you come back with.
All right, all right.
197. I think we could wrap this up at 197 because we've talked about heavyweight too much
We did talk
or
about
enough.
heavyweight. Yeah.
Um, I had AJ Ferrari winning this. By the way, that was not locking hands in the semis. I don't think that Ferrari would have won anyway. It was 3-0, but it was a really
Um,
absurd.
Remind me
Dude,
of the thing because I feel like I remember it.
he goes double thigh pry and his hands cross like this, or his hands are like
Yes.
overlapping somehow like
He
this,
lifted,
right?
didn't he? He lifted and returned.
What do you mean?
I think it was definitely locked hands when I watched it.
I don't think it was locked
Did you watch the
hands.
replay? Did you watch like the live
No, I was there
match of
live. I
it?
was there live. I was
You
there
should
live.
watch the TV version. I think the
I'll
TV
watch TV
version
version.
looked like more locked hands.
I'll look it up right now. But no, I thought that was I didn't think that was locking hands. But nonetheless, Buchanan looked phenomenal in the finals. And beat Barr. That was sweet. That was
Yeah.
sweet.
Which that
And
make you feel? Go ahead. Sorry.
he was down and got the takedown when he needed to get the takedown. Did he get two
Yep.
takedowns at the end? Whatever.
I only
But
remember the one like where he caught the leg on a down block.
he did what he needed to do and he did it in regulation time, which I thought was more respectable than most. Not more respectable, but cooler than most of the matches where it had to go into overtime, had to go into double overtime, whatever it was.
Yeah,
I really respected that. Getting it done when he needed to get it done.
for
Super
sure. No,
impressive.
that was cool.
Awesome career by Buchanan. I
Yeah.
really liked watching the guy wrestle, especially his
Couldn't.
last year at Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, he really made a significant jump. Did you spit it out, Pat? Did you listen to Brands talk about him afterwards?
Talk about Buchanan. No, what'd he say?
Yeah, and like kind of what he meant to the team and stuff, and just the type of guy he is. It was really cool to hear.
I did not. No, what did he say about him? Was he
No.
like just
Oh, just that he's a genuine person and that like he was really good for their culture this year, and you don't always get that with the transfer portal, but he was a good one.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was
I
nice to
like
hear.
that. Yeah, yeah. I like that. I like to hear that. But good good on Buchanan. Hopefully
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
yeah.
in Wisconsin next year, so if Buchanan wants to train, I'll be there.
If he's back in Wisco, man.
Help me out. I need it.
How long are we into the podcast are we right now? What time is it? About an hour
It
and
is
20.
8 hours 20, not bad.
Not bad. Do we
Um
have anything else that we need to go over tonight?
we can go it over next time. We had some good coverage talking about Ono and Penn State and
We
um
should really
our
hammer.
picks and
Maybe we
stuff.
should have a little bit more of a take on Ono and like have more of a discussion on that next time. Kind of like maybe what weight class, because I don't know if he's going to go 33 or 41 because he's been wrestling 61 kg. So,
He can go whatever weight he wants, I think, other than maybe
oh yeah.
49s, I think is too big for him. But yeah,
What's
we
that
could
mean
do
for
it.
Braden
But
Davis? Like we can kind of analyze all that.
yeah. But
So,
uh thank you guys for tuning in this week. I'm Evan Wick,
I'm Patrick Spray.
and this is episode 11 of Washed
Washed
Up.
up.